The ADX indicator can be a very powerful tool, but only if you know how it actually works and how to use it correctly. Most traders completely misunderstand it. They see ADX as a simple buy and sell indicator, but it's actually much deeper than that. So in this video, you will learn how to find the correct ADX indicator in TradingView. That can actually be pretty hard. You will learn how it works, and you will also learn a trading strategy, ADX trading strategy, step by step. But alright, so let's begin here by opening up a clean chart in TradingView. Right now, as I'm speaking, I'm looking at the Nasdaq 100, but you can use the ADX on pretty much every asset type, whether it's crypto, stocks, or Forex, and you can also use this one on pretty much all time frames. However, the very small time frames like the 1 minute you might want to avoid, especially if you're trading low liquidity markets. But in general, you can use this one on pretty much all charts. But now, how do we find the correct ADX indicator in TradingView? Well, to do this, we first want to go up to the indicators tab, and then you want to search for ADX. And as you can see, ADX stands for average directional index, and it is this first indicator right here that actually is the normal ADX indicator. You can see that this one looks super simple. We only have a line. It's pretty much like, looks like an RSI or just a one line indicator. However, what many traders do, and what I highly recommend, especially now when we are learning the ADX, is to open up yet another indicator. So now we want to once again go up here to the indicators tab, and now we want to search for DMI. DMI stands for directional movement index, and we want to open this one up right away because you will probably see something. Next, you want to go down to the DMI settings. So you go to the settings cogwheel right here. And as you can see, right here, we actually have an ADX line. You can see we have an ADX line right here, but we also have a line called plus DY and minus DY. So for now, let's press OK. So now we have two indicators. We have the ADX indicator and we have the DMI indicator. And now, one thing you might be noticing right away, just look at these two indicators and see if you can, can you find any kind of relationships between these indicators? Well, one thing you will notice relatively quickly is that the more space we have between the blue line and orange line, the higher the ADX will go, right? So when we have a very tight space between the lines, we will have a very low ADX. And as the space here between the lines increases, we will have a higher ADX. But now, one last tweak I want to do right away is that I want to change the plus DI to a green line right here. We can change it, make it a little bit bigger as well. And I want to change the minus DY to a red line right here. Why do I do this? Well, the green line is basically stands for bullish pressure, and the red line stands for bearish pressure. We can also change the ADX just to something like orange, so we don't mix it up. And now we are ready to start understanding this indicator. But alright, so now then, what does the ADX indicator actually measure? Well, in very simple terms, the ADX measures the strength of a trend. So when we see a very strong trend, like for example, recently in the stock market, we have been seeing a very strong trend towards the downside. You can see that we have been having very high values on the ADX. But what is very important to understand is that we will have high values on the ADX, both when we have strong downtrends, but also when we have strong uptrends. So for example, if we look back right here, you can see we have a very strong uptrend. And at the peak strength here, you can see that this was a bullish trend, but we still have high values on the ADX. And this relationship comes from the fact that the ADX measures, as we have already talked about, it measures basically the space here in between the lines, right? So it doesn't matter if the bears are in control. You can see who is in control by looking at the color of the line. When the line is red, the bears are in control. When the line is green, the bulls are in control. But the ADX is simply the strength of the trend, whether it's bearish or bullish. But now, what are the main use cases of the ADX? I would say that there are two very clear and easy use cases. And these use cases are basically the same thing if you think about it, but the opposite. Let me explain. The first use case is to use the ADX to find trending markets, strong trending markets, like for example, recently. Right now, we are in a strong bearish trend. However, the ADX is starting to lose some steam, so definitely pay attention to that. But if you are, say, a trader that focuses on pullbacks, maybe even focus on pullbacks in downtrends, then you can definitely use the ADX to basically filter out the best trends. But here, and this is very important, you can also use the ADX to find markets that you don't want to trade in. So let's say you are a trader that focuses on trends, then you want to avoid markets where the price is very choppy and random, perhaps going in a trading range. So as a trend trader, you want to avoid when the ADX is very low. But right, so now before we can start taking a look at a trading strategy, I want to show you guys some of the best ADX settings. And here, to have more room with the ADX settings, I actually want to open up one more indicator. So if you go to the indicators tab in TradingView and search for ADX, you can see that we do have a built-in indicator called ADX and the DI. So this one is basically, I hope you can see, it's basically when you combine the ADX and the DMI into one indicator. So let's actually do that so we can see a bit more clearly. This new indicator is also have some more settings we can tweak. But now let's go down to the settings right here. The very first thing we want to do is, of course, make the lines clearer. This is just so you guys can see. Let me just do that real quick. But now, the first setting I want to talk about is this one right here called TH. You can see that the standard value is 20 right here. And this is the threshold level. I hope you can see that we have a line, we have a dotted line right here. It's a little bit hard to see right now, so let me actually change this one, make it a bit more clear. We can actually make this a solid line and black like that. You can see that the standard threshold level is 20. And what the threshold basically tells us is that when the ADX pushes above the threshold, that indicates that we are in a strong trend. However, when the level is at 20, you will actually notice that you will get many false signals, at least in my opinion. So I personally recommend to increase this one to at least 25. Some traders prefer to have it at 30, but let's choose 25 for threshold for now. So now let's click OK here. We will change some more settings soon. But you can see that now when we have this threshold a bit higher, you can see that, for example, this recent downtrend we have been talking about, it took a while. So at this point, it took a while until the threshold level breached here. But this threshold level still caught this downtrend very good. But if we, for example, change it down, to let's say 20, or to make it even more clear, let's choose 15, you will see that we will get so many false signals, and this threshold will pretty much be useless. So in most cases, I think a higher threshold is better. So 25 to 30 can be a good rule of thumb. Now, the next setting I want to take a look at, this is something you definitely can change, is the length, or LEN. So the standard length is 14, and I actually think this is a good setting because 14 is a standard length for many other indicators, such as the RSI, ATR, and so on and so on. But here it depends a little bit on what type of trader you are. So for example, if you are a day trader, maybe you're trading the 5-minute or 15-minute time frame, and you really want faster signals, you will get a little bit more false signals, but you value faster signals more. Then a common setting is to change the length down to 7. But on the other hand, if you are more of a swing trader, maybe even position trader, you might actually find that even 14 is a little bit too short. So here, maybe trading the daily time frame or even weekly time frame, many traders will actually increase it up towards 20, maybe all the way up to, I have seen up to 28 and so on and so on. So depending on what type of trader you are, definitely feel free to experiment with different settings, but always make sure to, you know, backtest the settings to find what fits your market and your trading style the best. But let's switch here to, for now, let's switch back to 14. So 14.25, let's keep it at that for now. But right, so now let's take a look at an ADX trading strategy step by step. And this trading strategy, the only thing you need is that you need the ADX indicator, and you also need some knowledge in price action and market structure. If you don't feel comfortable in price action and market structure, don't worry, because I do have a full price action trading course that you can watch right here. And on my channel, I also have a full market structure trading course as well. But yeah, these courses are quite long, but you know, don't feel any stress. Go through them in your own pace, because it will really, you know, help you with not only this trading strategy, but many other trading strategies as well. But here, the trading strategy goes like this. As we talked about earlier in the video, we can use this indicator as a trend filter. So when the line here, when the ADX line is above our threshold of 25, that means that we are in a trending market, or at least that a trending market is starting to form. The other thing we're looking out for this particular trading strategy is a pullback. So in trends, we have impulsive moves, pullback, impulsive moves, pullback. So in a downtrend, we have impulsive move, pullback, impulsive move, pullback. It's the exact same thing, but the opposite. And as you can see, in this case, we had a beautiful, beautiful impulsive move. And here we have a beautiful pullback. I think I talked about this exact setup in an earlier video before it actually played out. This is also known as a bear flag. So here we have two things happening at the same time. The ADX is showing strength, and we also have a bear flag. So here we have basically combined the ADX with market structure. But we also need to use price action to sort of confirm the trade. And there are two main things we can use as entry here. The first one is a price action signal. For example, right here we had a bearish engulfing pattern coming in at the resistance of the bear flag. So that can be one potential entry. The other potential entry is to look out for to enter when the price breaks the bear flag. So another potential entry point could be right here. As for our risk to reward, let's just choose the short position right here, because we're betting that the market will go down, right? If you enter at the breakout candle right here, placing your stop loss just above the high with a 1.5 risk to reward, your trade would have looked something like this. If you use the shorter version, once again, we set the stop loss just above the highest point right here, entry at the candle close of the bearish engulfing, and with a 1.5 risk to reward, our trade would have looked something like this. With a 2 risk to reward, your trade would have looked something like this. But yeah, once again, I don't have time to go over price action and market structure in, you know, very depth in this video, so make sure to watch the courses after this one. Last but definitely not least here, if you for some reason don't have TradingView yet, I'm pretty sure these indicators are actually free, at least the two I showed in the beginning of the video. But if you don't have TradingView yet, I do have a special TradingView link, and you can use that link to get TradingView Premium for free for 30 days. And you can also get a $15 bonus if you decide to actually upgrade after your trial. And now guys, in order to really use the ADX effectively, I highly recommend to check out this course next. It's our full free price action trading course, and I really think it will help you a lot.